Anyway, like I say, and they browbeat or torture or abuse the Japanese or Chinese into doing this whole thing where they attacked. They're saying that they attacked Pearl Harbor, but but they didn't really attack Pearl Harbor, of course. I mean, it was actually like the subs or the people at Pearl Harbor that actually attacked. You know, they just have the books or the records, and they're trying to get this thing, you know, saying that they actually did it, but they didn't, of course. So anyway, you know, it was actually the scam. Like we find out, and we actually arrest the people or some of the people involved. And basically, Richard Nixon or John McCain went around, or the black people went around, going like, "Hey, yeah, you do this, you do that, blah blah." And I've explained Pearl Harbor basically. And pretty much they stole the subs, and one of the white subs gets hung up on the fence, and then they're buying the torpedoes from me basically, or from my German company, and then it's basically blacks and some Yankees from America, and basically they're the ones that are running wild. And pretty much I have this big project that's going on in America. You know, I'm building it basically, so I'm taking a whole bunch of there's a whole bunch of resources that are going from Panama, plus all the rock that's coming from Panama going to Germany, and then we're making metal, and then metal's coming back or whatever. Or metal's going to my other places, and I have steam engines going places. And basically, they're trying to rob or steal the ships or sink the ships. I'm basically just trying to take out White Star or do some damage to White Star. But I also have destroyers and a lot of other things. So basically, you know, the only people that were running wild were the white subs from Pearl Harbor. And they're doing this thing. Supposedly, they're doing research, but they actually attacked the Japanese ferry and actually killed like 6,000 or 3,000 children. You know, and they're like going to the ocean, and then they're, you know, and those submariners actually purposely hit that ferry. Like they knew if they went underneath, they knew if they lowered, they're supposed to fire at the surface, but they knew if they got deep, it would go underneath that and actually hit the ferry. They did it on purpose. So, and they actually fired 3 or 4 torpedoes. One of them actually hit the shore. The first one hit the shore, I think, and then the second one, it's all in a report. When they went after and they purposely were shooting at children, trying to sink it, trying to upset. John McCain is actually purposely, and also the white people, you know, also Mr. Brown, Mr. Black, the Bloods and Crips, they're trying to get the Japanese to attack America. So they're underwater and they're shooting, and they purposely kill those children. And Mr. Brown, he doesn't give a crap about white people at all. Like he says, kill them all. Who cares? Like he's actively trying to kill white people. Actively, you know, everything he does, every breath he takes, every step he takes every step he makes is basically an effect to try and kill every single white person out there. And like I say, they go to China and they start cutting off, like sacrifice a cock. They go and they line up all the Chinese workers and they start chopping off all their tubes in China. All the Chinese people and all the Japanese males, they start chopping off the tubes so they can't have sex. And that's JFK, probably Mr. Brown, and all the other people. Anyway, and this is like 1940 to 1960. So they're going around doing all this stuff. You know, saying that they're rapists or something like that, and that's why they're chopping off the tubes. Or something like that. So, anyway, they're doing all this horrible stuff. You know, in the Republican name, and the Democratic name, and the aristocratic name. You know, so they're doing all this stuff, and then like Mr. Brown makes, you know, he puts the white children with black parents, and then he forces the children to go kill their mom. And then he tells them later on that they just killed their mom. You know, that Mr. Brown is really, really that bad. The Bloods and the Crips. Like after the truth came out, after the truth comes out about the Bloods and the Crips and Mr. Brown and everything else, like black people weren't hired anymore. No one even wanted them on the farm. No one wanted them around. No one wanted them anywhere near them, or working for them or going to school with them. You know, when they found out what Nixon and John McCain and basically, you know, Bush and pretty much, you know, Mr. Brown and, you know, and Mr. Black and everyone, they wanted to change the Black Canyon to a different name. It was originally named something else, something I named it, I think, like that. And then Mr. Black went up there and he took it over and he killed a bunch of people. And basically, he was actively trying to starve the white people, the British, the Germans, everyone, anyone white. You know, it was basically black versus white as far as the Bloods and the Crips and Mr. Brown was concerned. So that's why so many of them are locked up, because he actively tells his people to rob and steal and graffiti and pull everything off the wall, steal every car. So anyway, Michael Jackson's dad, everyone. And he only supports black people. And only the few. Anyway, whatever. So anyway, so that's what the black people are basically doing. You know, probably Oprah, maybe even. She was chained to a wall for a while, though, when she was a child. I don't know why she doesn't mention it or tell anyone about it, but she was chained to a room for over a year and a half when she was a child. But she doesn't say anything about that. And anyway, so it's just, you know, all black males are just bad, basically. Like, I don't know if there's any good one. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll change someday, but probably not. Like, they actively enforce, like, pain and torture and hurting. So they have for the last 500 years. So they were never nice. They're never cool. Anyway, though, they can't. They try and crush and do that to Irish, but Irish aren't that easy to crush. Nor are the Chinese. So, nor are the Germans. They're pretty tough too. Anyway, they try and get them individually, though. You know, using the whole group. They basically, you know, they actively do it. They actually go in groups of 300 or 1,000 black people to try and overwhelm people. They did that at the Olympics and all kinds of other places. Try and spread their semen around as much as possible. So that's pretty much what they do. And have been doing. That's why the streets are so nightmarish sometimes. So, and that's why I'm like, everyone gets the right to have a gun. Everyone has the right to defend themselves. If that person crosses the property line, and if that person is black or white or whatever, you have the right to shoot them. I have no mercy for people who are like that. You know, especially there are some people that are climbing in and then they were shooting them, and I was like, and then the black people were like, oh yeah, shoot them, it's my right. You know, they would ask the mailman over, a friend over, for a business deal, and they'd be like, I have the right to shoot you now. Mr. Brown does that. He said, you were inside my house, I have the right to shoot you. To some of my white people. And it's like, the fuck you just said? Yeah, you just broke in. I got 12 other blacks that'll back me up on this. To some of my white businessmen. And I find out about this, of course. So, anyway. Basically, the blacks don't give a fuck about the law, don't give a fuck about anything. It's like, why even do that? Just shoot them or not. Anyway, whatever. Mr. Brown or it's how basically Michael Jackson's dad or some black people do it. They've been doing it the whole time. It's like, you know, so like I say, when it comes to black people and doing bad things to them, I have no mercy or no whatever, you know. It's like, I have no sympathy for them anymore. I used to care. I used to feel equality, but it's like, they're not, you know, they haven't been equal in 500 years. So, well, you know, basically they've been actively doing a race war the last 500 or 300 years, or 150 years. Full on. So, because originally they were only about 1/3 majority, or 1/3 group, and they've been slowly raping, killing their way along. So, yeah, I'm just like, whatever. Ugh. Yeah, it's an internal problem, really. Anyway. But, you know, that's why when they're like, hey man, it's what's called equal rights. We have a right to be able to work here. But then they go, like I say, on some of my tunnel projects with the Irish, and the Irish tell me that it's like, yeah, we hired them, but they're taking bombs in and they're blowing up the other workers. They'll leave a lunch pail and then take off. So, you know, and it's the blacks. So they tell me directly, and I'm like, all right, yeah, fire them. I don't care. We're not equal like that. You know, so I find out about all the lunch pail bombs, and they're blaming the Russians, they're blaming the Germans, they're blaming the Irish, they're blaming everyone. So, but it's actually like the blacks that are going in there, and they'll leave their lunchbox or leave a thermos, and they basically blow it up in the tunnel project. So,